All right, so welcome to the 67th episode of the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, Black people here in America, Africa, and the diaspora. I'm your host, Brother Tamani. I'm down out of Houston, Texas. I'm the direct revolutionary product of one cardinal Bayou Chewy out of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, and the indirect revolutionary product of one Albert B. Clegg Jr., the founder of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, the father of liberation theology. And I'm also the founder of the Black Owned Nation, my co-host, chief consultant of the Black Owned Nation's National Political Strategy and Implementation Department, and our Adult Education Division national representative. He's also the chairman of LACE, Liberation Advocates for Community Empowerment, the intellectual gangster, corporate grassroots revolutionary, and master domino assassin, Brother Craig B. Lee from Shreveport, Louisiana, aka The Boot. Brother Craig, how you doing this evening?
I am doing absolutely irie and ready to get into this very interesting subject.
Cool. And just for the record, we are a few minutes late. That is completely on me. I don't know what happened with the link, but we got our links crossed somehow, some way. But we're here now, and we're going to get right into it. So, as always, just a quick FYI, quick overview. What we're trying to do with the Revolutionary Code and everything that we do, we're trying to mobilize and organize Black people who want more out of life, who want to understand how this system works, who want to actively engage in the building of power, because that's the only way we're going to have a life worth living, is if we have some power that we can wield to protect ourselves and do our own thing. So that is why we're here. We're here to mobilize and organize Black people to do. We're not just trying to educate or inform. We're trying to get you to do something. So we want to educate, inform, motivate, mobilize, organize, and build. So every single thing we say and everything we do is about bringing our people together to find the right people so we can move forward and build something that matters. And of course, that something will be something that has power. So tonight's show title is Understanding Our Collective Wealth to Establish and Build the Wakanda We Need. Understanding our collective wealth to establish and build the Wakanda that we need. So last week's show dealt with a group of 19 Black families who pooled their economic resources to purchase land in hopes of building their own town. So Brother Craig laid out the thoughts behind what they were trying to do, and we clearly showed that there was a better, more feasible and realistic way to have a town or city, and how you can go about doing that and not come up short by not clearly thinking out the magnitude of the expenses as it relates to infrastructure of any municipality, let alone trying to build one from the ground up. So I thought that was a very good show as usual, and I think we made our case fairly well. So tonight we want to deal with how we really already have the makings or the ability and all the components that we need to have our own Wakanda. They already exist if, as always, we understand the numbers. Understanding our collective wealth to establish and build the Wakanda that we need. So I'm going to share an article. I'm going to share two articles. One is an article that Brother Craig sent me, me and Brother Lloyd. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, actually. And I'm also going to share an article that talks about how much money we generate. And actually, the article is kind of low on those dollars. So give me a quick second to share my screen, show these articles. So you guys should be able to see my screen right now. You guys can see my screen? Yeah. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna read the overview of this one, then I'm gonna go to the second article, and then we'll get into the conversation. So this is an article titled Global GDP 2021. Gross domestic product serves as a barometer for a country's economic health. It measures the total market value of final goods and services produced in a country during a given year. Together, the US and China account for 42% of global GDP. Here is GDP by country according to IMF estimate. So I'm sure Brother Craig is going to talk about this segmented pie chart, but I want to read the overview of the article and then show the monies that we generate here, and then we'll come back to the chart. So an overview of GDP. GDP serves as an indicator for a country's economic output. It measures the total market value of final goods and services produced in a country in a specific time frame, such as quarter or year. In addition, GDP also takes into consideration the output of services provided by the government, such as money spent on defense, healthcare, education. Generally speaking, when GDP is increasing in a country, it is a sign of greater economic activity that benefits workers and businesses, while the reverse is true for a decline. So I'm gonna click on this other tab, and hopefully you guys will be able to see this article titled "Race Ahead." In new Nielsen report puts Black buying power at 1.2 trillion. Can you see this article, Craig?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So this one paragraph is the one that we want to focus on. And again, I think this number is kind of low, and I'm sure Brother Craig will talk about what the actual number is, legal and illegal. So the report states, or the article states, in the report, Black dollars matter. The sales impact of Black consumers, the message is clear. While African Americans make up just 14% of the population, we are responsible for some $1.2 trillion in purchases annually. Further, consumers of color are showing an outsized influence in several key consumer categories and are increasingly demanding that businesses do and be better. So with that, Brother Craig, I'm going to go back to the initial article, and I'll have you open it up. What is the key things we need to understand and take away from this chart?
Well, I mean, this chart is really a powerful chart that lets you see where the countries, the dominance of the United States and China, respective of all of the other countries that are on the economic landscape throughout the world. And it also shows how the United States has, just completely demolished Russia, which used to be the other so-called superpower, because they're like number 11 on the list versus the United States being at 22.94 trillion. So it gives you a very good standpoint to gauge the other countries. And then when you juxtapose our contribution to within this 22.94 million from a consumption standpoint, disposable income standpoint, it shows you how our numbers dwarf countries.
Yep.
Throughout European countries, African countries, and all of those are countries, meaning that they have a common cultural construct, and we do not. Hence why we cannot mobilize and organize our dollars for the benefit of improving our quality of life. So when I saw this, I thought it was a real good article to send to you to bring some context into it. And so this is really what this chart represents for me.
Okay. I guess I'll be going back and forth. So and we've had this next question I'm about to ask you. We've talked about this a number of times, and I know you've given me a very clear example as to how. So the next question is, how could we go about using group economics to move this economic Black needle? I know one time you gave me a very good example of how we could pool resources after we get our income tax, and what that could become. So give us an idea of how we could pool our economic capital to really do something with the kind of money that we generate in this country.
I mean, you just mentioned one of the easiest things that I referenced. I had a conversation with my ex-wife on, I think, yesterday or the day before, because I'm helping her family with a case involving her niece that has been abused in Bastrop, Louisiana, Morehouse Parish Public School System. Teacher has now been fired, but she was referencing the fact that on an annual basis, her sister pretty much brings in during tax season 8,000 to 9,000 a year. Now, she doesn't put in that much money into the system, but she receives this amount of money. But Erica has never focused on getting involved in a business. I know I talked to her multiple times while Chastity and I were married, but she never focused on it. And she has real good skills cooking and whatnot. And so when you have people who are just focused on consuming goods and services and not becoming a producer of goods and services, this is what you actually have, a complete waste of dollars that are really like a Christmas present because you haven't put these dollars in. Because typically most people who are making 100,000, 200,000, they're not even getting $9,000, $8,000 back on their taxes. So if you were to just take, that example right there, I'm writing something down right now because we're going to discuss some numbers. But if you were just to take that example right there, $8,000, and you just had just a small number of people, like 2,000 people that were willing to not even put up the full 8,000. We could just say they blow 3,000 and put up 5,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Blow 3, put up 5, and you got 2,000 people who's willing to do that. Man, that's $10 million. That's $10 million.
Yep.
I mean, you start a goddamn credit union. You start a financial institution.
Right.
So there's what white folks have done to us through chattel slavery, Jim Crow segregation. It is so gangster because at this stage in the ball game, the impediment is ourselves. That's why I said we only have 2 problems in this whole world. The one you can't do anything directly about, and that's the philosophy, the system, and the game of capitalistic white supremacy racism. You can indirectly impact it by directly handling the problem that we can eliminate, and that is no empowerment, which is the ability to control your destiny, spiritually, culturally, educationally, economically, socially, and politically. And so, but because this virus of poverty and has been embedded in us, our unwillingness to want to be accountable and responsible, our unwillingness to want to learn as a group, as a collective, not individuals like those of us on this call, but the collective, is damn near virtually impossible because you're not, the people who go to work and make things happen, they're not coming up at the end of the year on $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 refund checks.
Right.
For the most part, they're not. And even if they are and they are educated, guess what? Those individuals operate mostly in silos as well. So these are things that cooperative economics could easily begin to transform a lot of things that happen in our community. But because we lack those first 3 components of the 6 pillars of empowerment, spirituality, organic right culture, and education, you can't do the economic piece. You can't do substantively the socioeconomic piece, and you're not going to be politically united in order to establish public policies that will roll to your benefit. But these numbers show you, you can bear witness, whether it's 1.2 trillion, or as I bring in the under the table money, whether it's the under table legal money or under table corrupt money, you're talking, I say 1.5 trillion, but 1.2, 1.5, it's irrelevant. We got a lot of damn money that is a part of our disposable income, but less than 3% of it is spent with ourselves, and that puts us in the condition that we're in. But those things are functions of spirituality and organic right culture, because the chart that we're looking at, again, these are countries where the vast majority of the people in Russia speak Russian. Mm-hmm. In Brazil, they speak Spanish. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So they have a common thread, okay? Mm-hmm. The United States is built on the illusion of individualism, but the people who win in the game in the United States, in the capitalistic game of white supremacy, racism, those individuals operate collectively as a team, and we are unfortunately the only ones who don't get that.
If not our collective history in this country as a result of either chattel slavery or for those Africans who were already here, African descendant groups that were already here, from what was done to them. If our collective history in this country is not the tie that binds, if you will, since we don't, have our native tongue, if that isn't it, what can we use to create a for lack of a better description, a covenant agreement amongst ourselves, so that we can say we have this in common, we got that in common? Surely, let's move forward and do something. Go ahead.
That's not going to happen, because the ties that bond are first off, you got to get rid of the virus that's in your mind, mm-hmm. that has been implanted in our minds since chattel slavery. That's your spiritual piece.
Yeah.
Because your spirituality is not only your power piece, but it's also the detoxification piece, as well as your protective armor piece. So you're not going to just try to figure a way of uniting a bunch of slaves together that believe that they're free.
Yeah.
Again, we go back to the quote that's attributed to Harriet Tubman. Whether she said it or not, irrelevant. I like the damn quote. I could have freed more of they punk asses if they only knew that they were slaves. See, the issue that you have when you have a slave who believes that he's not a slave, she's not a slave, is that they don't want to be told a goddamn thing, mm-hmm. because they believe that they're free. They believe that they're in control of their minds. They believe that they're making these buying decisions on their own, and they're not. You see,
yeah.
That's why I would always tell Naru, I'm not anti rap music. And by the way, Naru, I did in preparation for this, because so-called hip hop, which is fictional in terms of what I researched in terms of that name, which came from one of the members of Grandmaster Flash, mimicking one of his partners who was in the military, doing a cadence, left, right, hip, hop, hip. This is where the goddamn term comes from. And so it's like, you now have our people with our greatest export. We don't control it.
Yep.
So, and we don't control it because we don't control our spiritual and cultural foundation. So now, because the white folks have figured out how to allow us to perceptively maneuver in the game, we're giving them 97+% of the disposable income that we work for. And that is, bruh, it is just baffling. So no, there are no magic bullets, because no matter what organization you try to start, those slave tendencies will be there. Distrust, envy, hatred, jealousy.
Yep.
So you can't, I don't care what common thread you try to roll with to unite the entities. If those first two are not embraced, the spiritual and the organic cultural piece, you can forget it. And so that's why you have to operate on a very micro level with like-minded individuals where you may not be able to get 2,000 of them to put up 5,000 or 2,000, but you can get 300 or 500 to begin to start, because you got to create the physical reality for the people to buy in order for others to then tap in as well.
So I'm glad you stated you made a statement that is a direct connection to the next question. You talked about the things that we will be able to transform, and that's my next question. So if we are able to garner a percentage of our people's discretionary income, what will we be able to do? What kind of movements would that allow us to do specifically if we're able to get enough people to put in a small amount of money, specifically as it relates to what you just said about the things that we'll be able to transform?
Man, one of the easiest things, I had a guy, wonderful brother, Jamon Turner. He spoke at our Tuesday morning breakfast this past week. His brother's into preventing violent crime in Shreveport, Caddo, Northwest Louisiana, through his love of agriculture, horses, and livestock. Agriculture, horses, and livestock. This brother is 34 years old. He was a former professional bull rider. He stated that he's won over $500,000. But when I tell you that this dude is about the business of establishing the agrarian economy that existed for our people before the industrial age set in. I mean, this dude is about that life. And so he talked about all the opportunities that exist. Dr. Jones, for example, she went to Southern University, and I forgot, we were talking the other day, her background from Southern University is in agriculture, right? So there are opportunities that exist when you can pull resources together. And for all those people, like you take the cannabis situation that's going on right now. So many Negroes are focusing on cannabis in order to smoke it and basically do legal drug transactions.
Yeah.
The real game in cannabis ain't got a damn thing to do with you smoking medicinally or recreationally. The real game is in the products that you can goddamn create out of the cannabis that impacts the entire world, right? So you can pool resources to get into the real cannabis industry that will actually help the planet versus, it's from the earth, it's good, whoop the whoop and all this foolishness. But the real game of producing products, that's number two. Number three, you take the sister over in Africa who is now making bricks out of plastic.
Yep.
Okay, you got the money, now you can partnership with these individuals. What have I told you for the past few years? Everything that you see, including the United States of America, including the concept creation that we are now participating in called Zoom, all of these things are what? What are they?
Ideas?
Exactly.
All right.
So you got the seed money to invest into what?
Ideas.
So unfortunately, when you don't have control of your spirituality and you have not locked down and tapped into your organic right culture, you don't have control of your mind. Thus, you don't have control of being able to produce what?
Ideas.
And so as a slave, you start to kind of sort of get into the production of ideas, but the goddamn ideas are typically the damn same. Yeah. I'm gonna start a lawn service. I'm gonna start a goddamn daycare. I'm gonna start a goddamn club. I mean, dude, really? I mean, do you know Negroes rent rims?
Yes.
For the car?
Yeah, when I saw that, I was coming back from the barbershop, and I had to make a U-turn to come back to make sure I actually saw what I thought I saw. You could rent rims, and I'm like, why would you want to do that?
Rent rims.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
You do know that the Negro is the #1 consumer of rent a rim.
I'm not surprised.
You do know that the Negro is the #1 consumer in rental furniture. There are areas, go back to, it's something, there are industries where although we're 14, 15% of the United States population, there are industries that we dominate.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking exclusive, ethnic product categories. I'm talking about product categories where you would think like, damn, how could the Negro dominate rental furniture? Because most people ain't gonna rent no goddamn furniture.
That's right.
But Negro will.
Yeah, because Negro can't be patient enough and save his money long enough to buy what he needs. Yeah, he gotta have it now. Gotta have it now. Yeah. Yeah.
And you end up, and then the damn furniture ain't real any goddamn way. It's particle board and compressed bullshit. And so they focus on that, and now you pay 15 times what it's really worth.
That's right.
You could have saved the damn money and got some real furniture, because buying furniture is like buying a house. It appreciates in value if you buy the real damn thing.
Right. Yeah. So the next question is also a question that we have discussed. The answer we've discussed quite a bit. You talk about 5 different industries that we could invest in, we should invest in, key industries that we could have a controlling interest in. So if we were able to pool our resources and start to put it in places that could benefit our people moving forward, specifically, what are those industries that you constantly told me that we need to be focusing on that we could really have a controlling interest in?
Well, the 5 that I focus on, because my entrepreneurship, my philosophy of entrepreneurship is different than most entrepreneurs. The 5 that I know I have to focus on, where I know I can make millions and billions of dollars off of the African.
Wait. Before you answer, are there industries that outside of the 5 that you're focusing on that could also generate?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But these are the 5 that I know that the Negro consumer won't put an inordinate amount of pressure on you to outperform your white counterpart. Okay. They'll still do business with you in these arenas. And that's food and beverage. That's the entertainment, edutainment arena. That is the tourism arena. And now that's being challenged, of course, based on COVID protocols and whatnot. But, at some point, that's going to bounce back. And then you have wholesale products and cultural art. And so those are the 5 arenas that I prioritize, because I had to figure out how I maneuver where it's not a lot of competition, because I deal with the food game different. I'm not here to start a damn restaurant. I'm here to do manufacturing and distribution like the dope man. And instead of moving crack cocaine, powder cocaine, weed, heroin, my objective is to move all of this weight in these goddamn meat pies and these goddamn bean pies, because now throughout the world, the #1 food state in the world is Louisiana. So everybody wants our damn food. It's so funny to go to Michigan, Detroit, and to see a restaurant called Fish Bones. And the damn menu is like, oh, this is authentic Louisiana, right? Everything is authentic. Everybody wants Louisiana, right? So I said, instead of doing the Ray Kroc model, which is very successful, of 31,000 plus McDonald's brick and mortar buildings and spaces in airports and wherever they actually put them, in Walmarts and filling stations, instead of doing that model, what if I can now do the model of getting in 50,000 locations, restaurants, without having to put up any money for brick and mortar, but they got my product.
Right.
So we now get into the manufacturing distribution game so that we can now really make hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, but you got to have the right marketing concept. Your game has to be tight, and you have to understand really how you're going to navigate. So I knew that that industry is there, but as I started to, because I had to look at it, how can I generate the money and then lobby for the people so that we can get into discussions like this on cooperative economics and our disposable income as we juxtapose this to other countries' GDP. So it's like, damn, if I do the meat pies, I can't, but I know I had to test it out to make sure it works, because it works. So now I have to make money in an easier deal. And that's where I come in the arts game and in the entertainment game. So you can make a couple of, or I can make a couple of $1 million and then now lead the scope of locking down 1,000 or 2,000 people to put up $5,000 in order to do a credit union, in order to do these things. So now we can finance these other things. And that's what makes Shreveport so beautiful, because the one thing that you will not replicate, I don't give a damn about China putting the fake sun in the air, you're not going to replicate land. And they can play the game with their fake sun. You can't replicate the goddamn sun, okay? But these people are creating the goddamn sun, trying to create the damn sun. And we ain't even creating a damn grocery store.
Yeah.
I mean, we need our asses. But there are some cats who are out there doing some, non-traditional entrepreneurial things. But technology, land, there's some places that we can be outside of the daycare center, outside of the car wash, outside of all of these, the damn tire place. Yeah. Never see another goddamn tire place. I mean, god damn.
So you just said that your philosophy and thinking and strategizing per those 5 industries, that's going to generate a more than a few million for you. And then you said, and that will then allow you to go after a few hundred people who are willing to put in $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. So my question to you is how does your generating millions via your business exploits, how does that open up you being able to reach people who are willing to put money in?
Because I'm a culture social entrepreneur, so I'm not a capitalist. So the vast majority of the money that I make, I'm willing to reinvest into the community.
Okay.
See, a capitalist doesn't roll like me.
That's right.
So see, if I'm making $500 million a year, a net, hell, 400 million is going, 80% of the money is going back into the community.
That's right.
Because I told you before, if you can't make it on $100 million, you need to kill yourself today, goddammit. I mean, what the hell are you going to do other than help people? But capitalists, they do not look at this that way.
Yeah.
Because this is a game that they play like basketball and football. They count the money up at the end of the year. It's like, oh, see, we on the Forbes list. While people barely can afford bread.
Right.
So you got 2 schools of thought. You got really the idealistic, naive, foolish Negroes who believe that you can bellyache and complain to goddamn capitalists and try to embarrass them and talk about the damn Bilderberg group and all this foolishness, like that's going to really mean something. We're exposing the plot of skull and bones. And
and we really think we're doing something.
So you can believe that you're gonna shame them into giving up their damn money that they making off your dumb ass people, or you can get in the game, come off the bench. Well, come out, you ain't even on the bench. These folks ain't even in the arena.
Yeah.
They down the street front, they not even in the parking lot. So get your punk ass in the parking lot, come in the arena, get on the bench, learn some things, and then ask the coach to put you in. So you can, because right now you're not even in the game. So you can beg and plead for evil to transform and start doing good, or you can get in the game and start to now create your system within the system. But you're going to have to sell some products and services, and your people are going to have to support you in order to make this thing happen.
Yep. So if you missed the beginning of the show, you're watching the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people here in America, Africa, and around the world. Tonight's show is our 67th episode and is titled Understanding Our Collective Wealth to Establish and Build the Wakanda We Need. My name is Tamani Mwandani. I'm the founder of the Black Gold Nation. And my co-host is Brother Craig B. Lee, the chief consultant of our political strategy and implementation department, as well as our adult education division.
And Tamani, let me say this. Shannon said something very profound about these Negroes constantly begging these white folks for reparations.
Yep.
And I have to concur with her. The only reason that I am in favor of reparations is out of the respect for my ancestors. That's it. But what she's saying is 100% spot on. To even believe that that is a goddamn viable business move.
Yeah.
Even believe, you don't even understand politics to even believe that. Joe Biden is just trying to get some damn voting adjustments. And they won't even vote. Are you retarded? Dude, this, bruh, they white folks didn't even want to give up money to all of the white folks with the Negroes.
Yeah.
So you think they're gonna give up, you're gonna get enough votes through the Congress and the Senate to get reparations? But let's just say Santa Claus, let's just say Santa Claus and Easter Bunny is real. And we get goddamn reparations.
Yeah.
Let's just say that Santa Claus is real. Guess what, Naru? We already got a direct case analysis for what would happen if Negroes got reparations. Naru, what is that direct case analysis?
Yeah.
Naru, what is that direct case analysis?
They're gonna give all the money back.
But what is it based on? What case analysis?
It's based on our history, what we do with our money.
No. More specifically, Naru, in the last year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, what are you talking about, Black Panther?
No,
you're not talking about that. What you talking about?
All of the goddamn money these Negroes done got from the stimulus checks.
Oh man, that was a joke right there. I wasn't even including that. That was a joke.
That's the test case.
Yeah.
To show you what these Negroes would do. They would give the money right back. Boy, these white folks were really smart.
Yeah, they gave it all back, man. They gave all the money back. But every time we get money, that's what we do. We always give it back.
That's what show you white folks ain't smart. But you know why they won't? You know why they not gonna cut that check to all of us? Because they know a few of us. Mike, Dr. Jones, Shannon, you, me, Tamani, Lloyd, they know a few of us. They know a few of us will go ahead and come up. Okay. But these people ain't do no investing.
Yeah.
No investing. And sadly, those who are now, because a lot of these Negroes in their minds don't want to go back to work. A lot of these Negroes say, I'm a boss now. I'm gonna be my own boss. Bro, this thing here, bro.
All right, so before I get to the next question, I want to point out something on this chart. The article that I shared said that the money we spend is 1.2 trillion. His article is kind of old, and Brother Craig put our number at somewhere between 1.4 and 1.5 if you include the illegal money. And I just want to point out that from this article that we've been reading that talks about global GDP and who spends what. From this article, it gives a list of the top 50 top producing nations in the world based on their gross domestic product. And at between 1.2 and 1.5 trillion, you see Black people could be the 14th, 15th, or 16th nation in the world as relates to gross domestic product. So the fact that we could be on this list with how much money we generate is really the overall point of we do not lack economic resources. What we lack is control of our minds that will allow us to use those economic resources to move our people forward, which is the whole point of the article in tonight's show. So I want to read another piece from the article that talks about the 50 smallest countries. And the next question is directly related to this section. So the world economy, 50 smallest countries. On the other hand of the spectrum are the world's smallest economies by GDP, primarily developing and island nations. With a GDP of 70 million, Tuvalu, I think that's how you pronounce it, Tuvalu, is the smallest economy in the world, situated between Hawaii and Australia. The largest industry of this volcanic archipelago relies on territorial fishing rights. And this is the paragraph. In addition, the country earns significant revenue from its .tv web domain. Between 2011 and 2019, it earned $5 million annually from companies, including Amazon-owned Twitch, to license the twitch.tv domain name, equivalent to roughly 77% of the country's GDP. So I read that paragraph because the next question is about, and Brother Craig kind of already talked about this, creative usage of ideas. So the next question, Brother Craig, I talked to you, I don't know how long ago it was. I think it was last week. We were talking about, I called and asked you about, okay, if we were to target, as we target predominantly Black municipalities for political takeover, how do we determine what kind of industry we could create in these spaces that are predominantly Black? And you said, well, there's already going to be some industry there because it already exists. So we will be moving forward with what they already do. But some of the other things that we could do is create, like you said, the usage of technology, business incubation centers. You've even talked about, establishing the nation in the cloud. So give us one or two ideas as to how we could use the space that we take over politically and create something completely new in the technology arena that could also generate revenue for us moving forward.
What is the other key component to taking over the majority African-American spaces? What is the number one institution that these municipalities would be connected with?
HBCU, a college?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why the connection between those towns and cities with the historically Black colleges and universities and establishing the cultural solution centers at the empowerment solution centers at the institutions, that is the key to now establishing ideas that could become international concepts in engineering, in art, in all of these particular areas. So those are some of the things that would be able to be worked out. The reason I love that part of that article is because, again, all of this is based on what? Idea creation.
Yeah.
You see, because you got to figure a way of being able to maneuver. So that's a small little ass island that sits between Hawaii and Australia. Somebody on the island said, hey man, we ain't got nothing but a couple of guys on the island. How can we maneuver? You know, I don't know if they're looking at, or they probably, I don't know if they got natural resources like that, but they got some natural resources. So you have to do a SWOT analysis on the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats that exist in that landmass.
Yep.
From the city perspective and from the parish county perspective. And now you got to mobilize people who have free minds and now conjure up concepts that could resonate first and foremost with our consumer group and then with other ethnic groups. Sometimes they'll resonate straight out the box with everybody depending on what you create and come up with. But that's where concepts, like I've come up with the domino tournament, something that started out initially as a tournament that's now grown into an economic development deal. And I'm so glad, because I was going to ask you to pull this up. My business partner and colleague, Frances Smith, she shouted me out on Facebook the other day, and she said, damn, Black Enterprise done finally caught up. Craig Lee has been talking about this for 3 decades. See, because think about it. If you go back to the book, Reginald Lewis's book, Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun?
Awesome book. Awesome book.
But look, he wasn't focused, even though he made his money initially off of being a minority economic supplier institute business.
Yeah.
Once he made his money, he wanted to be with the white boys.
Right.
He never even focused on trying to lock down 10-20% of Black consumer spend.
That's right.
Black disposable income.
Yeah.
And he would have been a giant, but he wanted to show white folks, and the white folks showed him.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So, but yeah, your mind just lets you get in and you keep up with some creative geniuses. And it could be something as simple like the brother who's in Atlanta, who was a big time engineer, but he couldn't, like he wants to do a electric car. So guess what? He did a throwaway concept. Well, what's a throwaway concept? A damn concept that you can make millions and billions of dollars on, because it's not your real idea. It's your idea, but it ain't your like real idea. So what did he come up with, Tamani? Mike, do you know what he came up with? Mike Gunn, I know you know what he came up with, because I know you be doing this out in California. What did that brother come up with? What phenomenal idea, throwaway idea that he came up with to make millions of dollars. He's the one that created the damn super soaker.
Really? Oh, yeah, I heard about that guy. Okay.
He threw the concept away. He still makes money off of it, but he needed it as seed money in order to invest in his real deal, which is the electric car. Right? So we gotta, and look, here's the other thing I want to suggest, because it just takes time.
Yeah.
It comes on TV. Get off of watching goddamn, what's that channel that females like to watch? Start not Beyond the Oprah channels. I think it starts with an L.
I don't know.
Lifetime.
Lifetime.
Shannon knows. Okay.
Get off that goddamn Lifetime channel. Follow me, Shannon. Check this out. And now look at what's the entrepreneurship show? Shark Tank. Look at The Profit. You can learn a lot. Man, people coming with all kinds of ideas.
That's right. That is an awesome show. Yeah.
Bro, you talk about youth entrepreneurship. you can learn how all of these things, work. The valuation of a business, pitching a concept, whoop to whoop. And so we got to now just get in the game. So we can actually maneuver. Yeah. Now, before you go to the Black Enterprise article, let me give some data, because one of my partners yesterday, I had a business meeting in Dallas with my printer, who is printing my HBCU Preservation Challenge artwork, which on the low end is roughly about a $5 million project for my nonprofit. On the high end, potentially $20 million. But anyway, I was going over this because I knew we were having a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. And I told him about the 1.2 to 1.5 trillion dollar African American disposable income. And he's like, we ain't got that kind of money. I say, huh?
Yeah.
So look, to money I went, I said, he said, send me some of your data. So I just broke the data down from 25,000. I said, just say our gross income is 30,000. And after we pay taxes is 25,000. And there are 45 million African Americans in the United States. All right.
Yeah.
That number then came out to be 1.3 trillion, and it blew his mind. So I thought about it. I said, I have to be more realistic with the numbers. So now, Tamani, take your calculator out. Everybody take their calculator out. So this ain't no David Copperfield trick. Or you don't be thinking Craig to manipulate and fudge the numbers. So we're gonna be more realistic now. There are between 45 to 50 million African descendants in the United States. So we're not going to even deal with 45 million because we got to be more realistic. Some of them are children who are not working. Some of them are, unemployed, not connected, whatever. We're going to drop that 45. We're not going to deal with 50 million. We're going to deal with 45 million. And we're going to reduce that, Brother Mike, by 15 million people. So I want you to write down, put into your calculators, 30 million, okay?
All right.
Now, you can go look at this figure when we get off the line, but the figure, what do y'all think our average income is for African-American? They put families, but we're gonna break the family down into individuals because, again, I've eliminated 15 million people. So I'm dealing with the individuals who go to work. What do you all think the average income for African-American families was last year?
I'm gonna say 40 to 45,000.
Yeah, it's 41,000.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna deal with 41,000.
All right.
Because you gotta pay taxes, right? So we're gonna put that number at 35,000. So multiply 35,000 times 30 million and tell me what you got.
I gotta turn my calculator sideways. It should be, it was over $1 billion. But it gave me, it gave me a formula at 1 point something. Hold on, let me do it differently. Hold on, give me a second.
Anybody else? Because the money got a Walmart calculator.
How dare you? All right, 30 million times, you said 35,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
Just off the top, that's about 1.5 trillion.
Yeah, see, I keep getting that message. I keep getting 1.05.
Goddamn Mike Gunn up there talking about $1 billion, bro. You way off, Mike. It's $1.05 trillion. Even when I bring the math down to make it relative, you see what I'm saying, Naru? Because we're gonna have some fallout, whether they be youth who are not working, people who are in cross, whatever, okay? So I say 30 million versus 45 or 50 million. And then, yeah, there you go, Mike. Need to my one stream. So 30 million, and we bring the 41,000 average down to 30,000. Okay. And so now that's 1,050 billion dollars. Now, take that 1 trillion.
Okay, hold on. Before you give us another phone, let me open up Excel and do a spreadsheet because my calculator giving me numbers and it's not coming out right. Letters and numbers. Hold on a second. I want to keep up. Hold on.
Yeah. You with me on Dr. Jones?
Yep, I'm with you.
Is this making sense?
Yep.
All right. So
That's a lot of money, boy.
So you said 30 million times 35,000.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get my formula in there real quick. Clacker, clacker. All right. What the hell? I'm still getting numbers. All right, go ahead. Ignore me.
That's 1,050 billion.
Okay.
Now, if you were to multiply that, because we're not going to get all the Negroes' money. We don't need all the goddamn money.
Right.
Right now, we're under 3%. Let's just say our collective efforts, we lead the movement that would now spearhead 30% increase in cooperative economics within our ethnicity.
Okay.
So now multiply that times 0.3.
The trillion?
Yeah.
Okay. 0.03?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, 0.3.
0.3. Okay.
Percent.
All right. So 1 trillion times 0.3. 315 billion.
Yes. 350. Yes, Shannon. 315 billion. You see, Shannon, we can let Negroes still fuck off money with white folks, Asians, and every goddamn body else if we just lock down 30%. Now, Shannon, out of 30%, now let me mess your mind up. So now we got 315 billion, all right?
Yeah.
This is our collective. We're representing this because ain't nobody else focused on doing the goddamn thing. Reginald Lewis ain't never focused on it. The goddamn Urban League ain't never focused on it. The damn NAACP ain't never focused on it. You don't never hear the goddamn Congressional Black Caucus focused on it.
That's right. That's right.
So
And they
now,
never will.
so now Black Enterprise trying to copycat Craig Lee. But you ain't got no game plan, Black Enterprise. So now let's take 315 billion. Let's multiply that times 0.05.
0.05.
What's that?
15 billion.
15 billion, 750 million.
That's right.
So Dr. Jones, what would I do with 5.5% of the money? Where would that be going directly?
5%?
5% would go where directly? To our education institution.
HBCU, yeah, the HBCU.
HBCUs, Black charter schools. We give Naru some money so he can do all his goddamn hip hop things out in Oakland and whatnot. We put the money into secondary ed preschool. You think we can do a whole bunch with 15? We wouldn't get Dr. Umar Johnson none of the goddamn money. We know that.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get him no damn money. Because what do we know? He wouldn't do no damn school.
Right.
But this money would solidify those HBCUs who would be participating.
787 million.
Now you can now go and do all these other things throughout.
Right.
This is why we have to become what I call cultural social entrepreneurs.
Right.
Corporate grassroots revolutionaries.
Yes, sir.
Because you got to get in the game, because the game is about leveraging the resources and now dedicating them into the programs and projects that you desire to focus on. Because you're not going to shame a capitalist into goddamn rolling with a redistribution of their damn money.
Yes, sir. The end.
That's right, Shannon. That's your title. Cultra, not cultural, but cultra. Cultura. Cultra. Cultra social. Cultra social entrepreneur. That means you're not driven by profit. You're not driven by profit. And we don't impact society first. We impact who first?
Our people.
Us.
Our people, yeah.
What's
Black.
FUBU's brand name?
Or us by us.
God damn it, it's for us, by us. So we impact our cultural group first, and then we impact society at large. Cultra social entrepreneur. Corporate grassroots revolutionary. You cannot be the revolution, bruh. All this foolishness about revolution be fought with blood and bruh, stop. Stop. That ain't gonna happen. The revolution is a mental component and it is going to be fought in this particular realm.
The revolution is for your mind. That's the revolution.
That's
Free
the
your mind.
revolution.
Yeah.
That's the revolution.
Yes, sir.
And so we got to get to that particular point so that we can now at least lock down. That's my goal. 30% of the disposable income dollars that African-American consumers bring home and don't know what the hell to do with.
So my last question was, you get one takeaway, but I guess that's it.
Oh yeah, that's but dollars, these are the dollars that help fund our municipalities outside of sales tax revenues, outside of property tax revenues. We're bringing these dollars into our respective cities because we got entrepreneurs that's not only paying residential property tax, commercial property tax, that's not only generating sales tax revenues, but they're actually investing serious dollars into their various cities. That's how we win. And we create import-export opportunities with African nations, the Caribbean and other countries in South Central America.
All right, amen. On that note, we're gonna open it up for questions and answers. So does anybody have, Brother Naru, just turn his camera on, so let our brother go first. Brother Naru, questions or comments for Brother Craig?
First off, Craig, you better stop hating on hip hop. I done made well over $150,000 doing hip hop, and and the white man ain't got none of mine. I own all mine. So I'm just gonna say that right off the top.
That's right.
And I'm doing the positive hip hop, brother. So you already know what it is. All right, but so I got a couple questions. One about your business. I don't know if this is fitting for right now. If it's not, we'll talk off air. I want to know, you have a commercial kitchen or space that you use to make your meat pies, and are they handmade or do you use some kind of machinery to form your product?
Great question. I would never do a commercial kitchen, not for me, because I am 004 to the flow Negro, straight up secret. So in my condo is my commercial kitchen. I have commercial oven, the whole nine. All of my products are organically made by myself, by hand. But as the Creator blesses me to finish this art project, I'll have the resources. I already know the location I want to purchase, right around the corner from the house that I purchased for my cousin, because I'm her power of attorney. Right around the corner on, guess what? Guess what the street is called, Naru?
MLK?
No, sir.
Not MLK?
It's called Greenwood.
Okay.
There it is.
Greenwood
Okay.
Road. Greenwood Road. And so I'll then put those resources into that particular venture on Greenwood Road. And I was just talking to Dr. Jones about some property that my good partner, Algernon Williams, is looking at, and it's on Greenwood Road. My first development with my former business partner, Israel Shadea, the Dr. Howard Sims Dental Facility, it's on Greenwood Road.
Nice.
My other project that I'm looking to do, the Hootie Let Belly Cultural Arts District at the West End, it's on Greenwood Road. My damn partner, Rod Phillips and Stanley Lester, they've opened up their restaurant and they call it Let Bellies, which is named after Hootie Let Belly, the world's greatest folk and blues singer, the master of the 12-string guitar. He married my Moore relative. Their restaurant is on Greenwood Road.
Okay.
So this corridor is our Black Wall Street. And I'm leading that charge to make that happen. And meat pies will be a part of it. And we will have some goddamn vegan pies.
You better. You want to make some money, you better. Don't leave no money on the table, baby. Yeah, I'll be your partner in that. I got the vegan pies going out here, bro. Man. Okay, so here's the other question. So earlier we talked about other countries. I wanted to know how other countries are able to function financially without using the 6 pillars. Don't they have mistrust, greed, envy, and jealousy as well? They seem able to function without the 6 pillars. So I wanted to get your input on that.
That's a real good question, but those countries already have a cultural connection. And yes, they do have envy, hate, jealousy, and whatnot that go on, but they have an unyielding camaraderie to their cultural construct. You see, they're not going to sell their goddamn country out like we would to our enemies. This is just not going to happen. Are there some over there who possibly would try to sell out Mexico? Hell yeah, but guess what happens when they find out who they are? They kill their ass right on the spot. Yeah. See what I'm saying? So my point is to not say that those things do not exist, but because we lack organic right culture, because we don't have a connection to a landmass, the thing that we gotta have to eliminate that virus in us is that spirituality. Those other countries, because they have their culture intact, they have a religion that bonds them together. Like you take Mexico, they roll with Catholicism. What does the Negro in the United States roll with? Goddamn me, 90,000 goddamn so-called religion. So you can't get us to be on point even in Christianity. Because under Christianity, you got Church of God in Christ. Then you got Church of Christ. Then you got Baptist. Then you got Luther. Then you got Methodist. Yeah. Then you got Methodist Episcopalian. Then you got African Methodist. Then you got Central Methodist. Then you got goddamn me, whatever other kind of Methodist.
It's true.
I mean.
Then you got non-denominational.
Non-denominational.
Shannon says slave Christianity. I heard
that. Hey, bro.
Yes.
But you got to deal with them because, like I told you, Brother Naru, I don't bash them because there are 4 things that I can yield, they can yield me. And that's a percentage of their disposable income, true, which we talked about tonight, their damn vote, a percentage of their intellectual capital, whether it's their labor and or idea, and lastly, the positive promotion of our programs and projects and businesses. I wouldn't give a damn if they were Church of God in Christ, what Jehovah Witness. I can get well, you can't get no votes out of Jehovah Witness. They ass really ain't gonna spend no money with you with their punk ass. They ain't gonna do nothing. So you have to really go deep on them from that standpoint.
Thank you. That answers my question. Appreciate it.
So does anyone else have a question or comment for Brother Craig? Question or comment going once, going twice. All right, so I have a comment and I have a question for Brother Michael. So Brother Mike, if you're there, I need you to unmute. My comment really quickly is, for those who don't know or didn't see it, if you want to know exactly what a corporate grassroots revolutionary is, go to our YouTube page, just type in Black Gold Nation and click that logo and watch episode 50. Awesome episode. It lasted almost 2 hours, where we broke down the blueprint for becoming a corporate grassroots revolutionary. So what Brother Craig just talked about, along with becoming a culture social entrepreneur, he laid out that guidelines, if you will, to becoming a corporate grassroots revolutionary. So it's episode 50. For those that may have missed it. And I suggest that everybody watch it because, as always, it's a phenomenal show. Okay, so Brother Mike, when we were talking about, Brother Craig was talking about ideas that we could use, you put in the chat, Airbnb may be the pathway. I'm not following and I don't understand. So can you explain to me what you mean by that?
Well, there's so much. Here's where you've heard of community land trust, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I'm thinking that in terms of Airbnb, it's similar to the onset of Uber or Lyft.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is they got, look, there's only so much we can control when it comes to gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
I figure like this: if we get in the middle of it and get into the game, there's still an opportunity for us to do right by our own. Meaning that if you have that type of property, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to rent it out, even if short-term or long-term rental at market rate.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Out here, we're being not just gentrified, but displaced.
Okay.
So I was thinking certain areas where you have, like for instance, I went to Orlando, family trip, first family trip we've had. I mean, it's been a minute. And there's cookie cutter houses that are 89 bedroom. They got the screens to keep the critters out. We was around the lake, but I come to find out all this is catering to the Disneyland and Busch Farm, Busch Gardens, and the whole nine, right?
Okay.
Thinking to myself, I said, well, to invest in that also means there's an opportunity for somebody to benefit. I'm not saying that particular community. I'm saying rentals, Airbnbs. That's long term. That may be a way for us to stem this gentrification, because like a land trust, you own the land and then you lease it out to those in need that can benefit.
So you're saying, Brother Mike, instead, if gentrification and displacement is happening and we own property in those places, you're saying if we can't afford to live there, doesn't mean we can't make money off of the property that we own.
No, that's the whole point. We can get in there and own it and control the market. So in other words, it's like this. If next door, say for a week, Airbnb is going for X number of dollars.
Okay.
We may not even be in a position where we can do that, but let's say we do a short term for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because what it is that you got the option of rent it out or do an Airbnb in certain areas. But if we have a situation, we own it and rent it to someone who's in need for a short period of time at a lower rate, it indirectly change the trajectory of the other properties that they're renting, because if that gets out, then of course that's going. You know what? That's kind of what I don't know if I'm clear, but that's what popped in my head tonight. I'm saying there's got to be a way
to use Airbnb, the idea, the concept.
Yeah, you know what? Let me go to the lab and work on that, and I'm gonna table it till next week.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Airbnb is a good way of maneuvering with property, but Mike, a better way and even more money that the state would even pay you for. Especially here in Shreveport in the state of Louisiana, we fought to get the laws changed as it relates to incarceration. And because Louisiana had been the #1 prison state in the world. And so we fought to get those laws changed. John Legend came in to help, and we got them changed. So now you got a lot of formerly incarcerated individuals coming out. So you have reentry, which now we're getting into your social services realm. Reentry is a major component now. So the hundreds of millions that have been invested into the prison industrial complex, now opportunities are being made available to nonprofits and individuals who can get their game together and create opportunities. So we learned here in the city of Shreveport, there's no transitional shelter for a females coming from prison back into the community. Brother, let me tell you the numbers on this. They're paying rough over $1,000 a month for one person per bed. And if you got a bedroom, you can put 2 females in one bedroom, and you got a 3-bedroom crib. That's 6 people that you can put in that, and you're looking at anywhere from $1,500 plus just on the rent, and then they got other elements that can go into you making money off of them, services being provided to get them acclimated, reacclimated into society. So you're talking about 6 people staying in a house, you getting them transition, and you're talking about, bruh, you're talking about easily being able to make $20,000 off of a property that you can get here in the city of Shreveport for about 40, 30, 40, 50,000.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And you make it nice, it's like boom. So just think about that. So let's say you're rolling between $15,000 to $20,000 per month off of one property. And so we'll take it up to the 20,000. That's 240,000. You do 10 of those. 10 of those, that's only 60 people per month. You at 2.4 million. How much taxes do you pay on that, Brother Mike?
Should be none if you run a nonprofit.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and that's what I really, you know, I believe that if given the time and the opportunity, I think Black people can generate some awesome ideas. If we can just stop struggling to survive for a minute, breathe for a little bit, and focus, I think the creative juices, as always, will flow, and we can make some things happen. So,
but Tamani, when has that ever not been the case? The struggling to survive and maneuver right now is a lot easier than it was.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, I can dig that.
So we just have to be focused, and of course everybody ain't gonna be focused.
Sure.
But we just get a consolidated group.
Right.
Be focused, we can make some things happen.
Yeah.
I can tell you that like you take Dr. Jones, she's come in and made our business online business program for the city of Shreveport with the Fair Share Department. I mean, she just knocked it out the box. And this was a test pilot deal. And now, guess what? As she refines this and puts this thing together, now she can expand this throughout the entire United States. And she's created her own lane for her company. And that's how we collaborate.
Awesome, yeah.
Because my job as a political lobbyist is to create opportunities like that for people that got skill.
Yep.
Same with Mike. Same with Naru, same with Shannon, same with you. You see, I'm the gangster.
Yeah.
My job is to create the opportunity where you all can plug in. And so when you make your money, now what do? Great, man, we donating to that nonprofit, bro.
Right.
We get that tax write-off.
That's right.
You see?
Yeah.
We just, it's, hey, bro, once you understand the anatomy of how this thing is put together, it's the same throughout.
Yeah.
It just increases in volume, but you master it at the local level, at the real small level, you can do it at the larger level.
Dig it. All right. So on that note, I'm assuming no one else has a question or comment for Brother Craig. Craig, you have anything you want to say in closing?
Hey, I just appreciate you guys. I don't know what you guys are gonna do for King Day, but come up with something, you know, nice to do for our ancestors, and let's start this 2022 off on a great note. I got a lot of work to do to close out. Next week, I go pick up the art project. In about another month, I'll be launching the HBCU Preservation Challenge, baby. And you talking about somebody about to grind? I launched my campaign next month, and we about to grind and make this happen because the takeover is on and popping.
Well, amen. On that note, always remember that, and this is a perfect note, no one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the liberation, the empowerment, the salvation, and the freedom of Black people, because if Black people don't make it, none of us are going to make it because we're attached to the Black group. So with that, you guys have a wonderful evening. God bless. Thank you for being here. And if you are available this coming Saturday, we are reviewing, movie review is The Godfather. I'm sure everybody has seen it. If you haven't seen it, watch it again. Shannon's watched it twice already in preparation. So watch the movie.
Calling me out.
It's going to be an awesome review as usual. So you guys have, and it's at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. So if you're available, please join in. You guys have a wonderful day. God bless, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
God bless. God bless. Take care.